Donald Trump will be taken off the Republican primary ballot in Illinois now that a judge in the state has weighed in on the matter. Now, Cook County Circuit Court Judge Tracie Porter cited January 6th for the reasoning behind her decision to take Trump off the Republican primary ballot. But her ruling is placed on hold to give Trump time to appeal before the state's March 19th primary. Now, Porter's ruling said that based on engaging in insurrection on January 6th of 2021, his name should be removed from the ballot. How this case came to be, let's get into that. A group of 5 petitioners asked the state to remove Trump from the primary ballot on January 4th, the day he submitted filings to appear on the ballot, Porter wrote in her ruling. The petitioners also asked the Cook County Circuit Court for judicial review of the matter. Now, Trump has already appealed this, his campaign has already appealed this, and the Supreme Court is actually already hearing arguments in regard to the state of Colorado doing something very similar. Illinois is the 3rd state where Trump was deemed ineligible for the primary ballot, and similar rulings have also been issued in Colorado and in Maine. Both are also on pause. So in each instance where Trump was booted from the ballot, the disqualification clause of the Constitution's 14th Amendment was cited, and we have gotten into that argument before, but just as a reminder, I'll tell you what that portion of the Constitution says. Section 3 of the 14th Amendment is a Civil War era provision that holds that someone who has taken an oath to the Constitution as a member of Congress, as an officer of the United States, as a member of any state legislature, or as a state executive or judicial officer and has engaged in insurrection cannot hold public office, but it does not specify whether the provision applies to presidents, even though, I mean, I think it's pretty obvious it does.
We might have millions of people watching this show, but you can be the difference maker because we just need 1% of our audience to be paid members, and then this show can be around forever. So you can make that difference. Click join now. Okay, guys, so as I told you before, Donald Trump did commit an insurrection. He did a fake elector plot to do a coup against the country. I know, MAGA doesn't care, they love it. We asked them, do you like dictators? They say, yeah, we much prefer that Donald Trump be a dictator than Joe Biden be president. So we're not gonna affect him. Independents, I get it, man. You think you're angry with Joe Biden, you should get a load of how angry I am with Joe Biden, okay? So, but this isn't about that. This is about, number one, did he do the insurrection? Absolutely, positively. He planned a coup against America. He knew he lost and he tried to stay in office anyway because he hates the idea of freedom, democracy. He just wants to be in charge. He's a spoiled little brat, one of the worst people in the country. If you look up to him as your leader, I feel sick for you. Okay, now having said that, you can see to say that I'm not a fan of Donald Trump would be the biggest understatement you could possibly have. But guys, we didn't prove insurrection. The dumbass Democrats never even charged it. And the idiot corporate Republicans who actually hate Donald Trump, and they have the massive problems of their own, but they could have ended him in the impeachment, in the second impeachment. But Mitch McConnell and the others were cowards, total other cowards. So they didn't convict him in the Senate. So if you didn't convict him in the Senate, which would have said you can't run again, and you never charged him with insurrection, and you never proved it in court, and you waited 2.5 years to charge him because you thought he's one of the elites, we don't want to hurt any of the elites. Oh gosh, he's running again, so let's now charge him. And now you're too late. You're too late. So now after to send in your Democratic judges and now say, well, we kind of think he did an insurrection. I mean, that's not the standard in the Constitution, but I kind of think so. Cenk said it on air. Is that good enough? No, it's not good enough. It's not anywhere near good enough. So of course he should go on the ballot. You know what's gonna happen if he doesn't go on the ballot? Because randos decided that he committed an insurrection without any conviction? People are gonna go nuts. You're gonna tear this country apart. And look, I'll do it if I thought it was right. But you didn't follow the right. You can't argue for the rule of law and then not follow the rule of law. Merrick Garland should have charged him with insurrection on day one. But that coward loser sat on his hands for 2.5 years. Maybe the single worst attorney general we've ever had. So now the Democrats come crying and go, oh, we don't like it, he's winning in the polls. Can we take him off the ballots? Because we think he did an insurrection even though we didn't charge him
and we didn't prove it. Well, no, losers, that's not how it works. He's gonna go on the ballot, and he's probably gonna kick your ass because you're totally detached from reality and detached from the American people. So good luck. I warned you 100 times about Donald Trump, but the one people who definitely do not believe that Donald Trump is a danger is Democratic leadership. No person in their right mind, if you thought you were gonna lose the country, imagine if your family's life's on the line, you're gonna run Joe Biden, an 81-year-old corpse. No, it's not about Joe Biden. It's Democrats don't think that Donald Trump's a real danger. Otherwise, they would never act like this. This is just blatant, dumbass cheating at the end. God, that's so stupid, especially when your main tagline in the election is democracy's on the line. Democracy's on the line, and I'd like to remove the guy running against me from the ballot? I mean, can you imagine a worse campaign message?
Are we gonna pretend like Democrats haven't made a mockery of our democratic process for years now? Are we really gonna, we're gonna pretend?
Are you kidding me?
They didn't allow for, in this election, they didn't allow for a robust primary. They squashed any mention of primary debates. They didn't allow people to even appear on the ballots. They didn't allow primary elections in specific states like Florida. But that's just during this election. Okay, the games that the DNC and the Democratic establishment plays, specifically during the primaries when most Americans unfortunately aren't paying attention, is amazing. And they get away with it because most Americans don't pay attention to the primaries that are incredibly important. So you're not left with a crap sandwich at the end, okay? Who do you go for? Do you go for someone you can't stand or someone you hate even more? That's what our general elections have become because no one pays attention to primaries. And for the Democratic voters who do pay attention to primaries, the Democratic establishment doesn't really allow you to have a choice, do they? They play all sorts of games and they crush anyone who dare challenge the status quo among the Democratic Party. So please spare me the whining and crying about, oh, Republicans don't value our democracy, because I guarantee you, neither do the Democrats who call the shots during these primary elections, period. And so honestly, at this point, every time I hear one of them get into one of their little rants about how dangerous Trump is, I can't help but roll my eyes. It's hard for me to take it seriously, Cenk.
Yeah, no, I understand. There's two camps and they're both totally detached from reality. There's the MAGA guys who think that Donald Trump won the election, and then even though he can't present one piece of evidence in court, not one, in over 60 trials in the beginning, now he's on trial for subverting democracy in Atlanta and in the federal case, he still hasn't presented one piece of evidence that he actually won the election. Mike Lindell just lost $5 million because he said, oh yeah, if you could prove that he lost the election, and then a Trump supporter proved that he lost the election. But you can't get through to them because they've lost their minds and they don't care. They hate facts. Now on the blue, oh, you're feeling really good, blue side, right? Blue team, yeah. And on the blue side, you say, oh, well, of course you end elections in a primary. That's the Democratic thing to do. Of course you don't question the leader, even if the leader is incompetent, is in the 30s in the polling, is definitely going to, it's just falling apart at the seams. Don't. Everybody in media has to lie in favor of the dear leader, and that dear leader is young and has vitality and is amazing and is such a great human being and loves democracy. And by the way, as I say all these things, tons of Democrats go, yeah, that's definitely true. Are you gonna say that's not true? Guys, wakey, you're detached from reality. None of that is true. He's a walking corpse, and he's trying to cancel elections all throughout the primaries, and he's doing every dirty trick there is, including this story, where they didn't actually try Donald Trump on insurrection, and now they're having the courts go, Biden's gonna lose, eliminate him, just take him off the ballots, just take him off the ballots, right? And still, blue MAGA thinks, no. Well, of course, no, if you favor democracy, you don't have any in the primary, you only obey the authoritarian leader, and you make sure that no one can run against you in the primary or the general election. And that's why we're pro-democracy. No, both sides hate democracy. They just wanna be in charge. So the only people that are right are the people in the middle who are getting crunched by these two evil forces.